Hello, everyone. Welcome to Curious K podcast. It's another beautiful day, and I'm very excited about this episode because we are traveling all the way to Botswana. We'll be having a very interesting conversation with my brothers in Botswana today, and it promises to be very exciting. And as you know, Curious K podcast is a show where we have amazing conversation with entrepreneurs in Africa, building amazing solution, and everyone working just to drive impact on the continent. And that's what we are all about on Curious K podcast. And this episode, it's not an exception. Like I mentioned earlier, that we're stopping over at Botswana today. And it's a pleasure to have Kedumetse on the show today. And not just him, I'm having his co-founder, the managing director of Ked Liphi company, who goes by the name of Tawanda Matambo, also on the podcast today. So thank you, Kedu. Thank you, Tawanda, for joining us on Curious K podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having us, brother.
Pleasure being here.
Absolutely. And I would just like to let you guys know that this is actually the first time I'm having two people on the show. So this is really exciting for me. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, no, definitely, bro. Definitely.
Looking to good things. It's going to be fantastic.
So I was Botswana today.
Botswana, it's hot, bro. It's very hot.
Just like Lagos.
It's just the beginning of summer. Miss this hot. Imagine in the middle of the summer, then how it is going to be.
Wow, interesting. But I mean, it is what it is. We still enjoy the hot weather with with a cold beer later in the evening, as we do in African cities across.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Well, it depends how you look at summer. For bachelors, they might have a different view. For us married men, we've got a different perspective. But in Botswana, they have a saying, especially when summer comes out. I know it applies to Botswana and Namibia. Where all the young guys are active and happy. They're actually willing for the more sun to come out, and we're like, no, it's too hot.
Nice. I mean, I'm really excited about what you guys are doing at Ked Liphi. I mean, you guys have very innovative products you're building. And of course, we get to that in the course of this podcast. But before we start, can you just give a background into Ked Liphi? Just give us a background into the company. Tell us about the innovative product you're building.
Yeah, thanks again for hosting us. Good day to everyone in Africa, to us today. My name is Kedumetse Liphi, like I've been introduced. I'm the founder of Ked Liphi. Ked Liphi was founded in 2013 and officially registered in 2016. An electronic company that specializes in electronics and engineering. We have been steadily growing. We do repairs, household repairs. And in 2020, or towards the end of 2019, that's when the innovation department was rebirthed or reborn under Ked Liphi. So we innovate using electronics, solving problems of Africa, trying to convert from manual to automated system. We are trying to embrace the fourth industrial, going into the fifth industrial revolution.
I mean, a lot of things to talk about when we talk about startups in Africa is software. I mean, like some people used to say, hardware is hard, really. So why were you? What was it for you that you started actually want to build hardware product? And another thing I also like to talk about is this: you're very innovative.
Like I was saying, we usually discuss that issue and with my partner, and we ask ourselves what is so different with us, because most innovators around Africa, everyone, it's all about apps, application. Even we are the only people that are right now doing innovations. So what I've realized that there's no more market for applications. everyone is doing applications. Who's going to buy into application? We need to change how we do things. We need to do things in a hard way that will change how we work and try to work in a smarter way. Because for you to work in a smarter way, we are talking about robotics, we're talking about drones, we're talking about things that can literally reduce human effort. So that's what drove us into this, the hardware innovation part. And also, I grew up loving electronics myself, not the software part, but the hardware part. My parents will buy me a toy, and just within 2 days, 3 days, I want to know what is it that is in that toy that is making that toy to move. So that's what drove us into that innovation space.
And yeah, and just to add on to what Kedumetse is saying there, you know, they usually say that if you want to see where the world is going, you know, you need to look at what Hollywood is doing. But we have a philosophy that it's time for them to watch where Africa's going, you know, because we feel also, you know, that the African continent is full of talent, and the African child is actually always been a solution. Even if you go back into our history books, you know, anything that was ever made or built came out of Africa, according to us. It was just then modified in a first world country. And now what we're simply saying is it's time to bring all that talent and all that effort back home. And you know, interestingly enough, we were just also watching a movie that a lot of people went crazy for. You know, Black Panther. I know a lot of people were crazy about that. And you know, when you watch that movie, it's depicting a certain view of Africa. It's depicting how Africans have a hidden system. Africa has this complicated network or infrastructure that you know, the first world country are after and they want to get. You know, and you know, when you look at how the transition of that movie goes, for those people who understand where the world is going, where the systems are moving to, this is actually where we are right now. And we thought as a company, as visionaries, it's also our mandate to position ourselves to where the world is moving, you know, where it's not only going to be an application based system, because you've got an application, but where you're going to use it off from, you know, we've got a system where, you know, we've got natural resources in Africa. The only difference there is probably our forefathers didn't know how to utilize it well. And we are now in the fourth industrial revolution where we are now empowered to know how to utilize them and make devices and systems and automate processes that make lives more efficient, that add more value, and have a lot more meaning and benefit to society and to the African child.
That's simply brilliant and amazing. And I don't know what it's like when it comes to importation in Botswana, but in Nigeria we import almost everything. I mean, we have all these Asian electronics that they've taken over the market. The TV you have in our homes, they are LG, they are Samsung, they are all these brands, right? Why can't we have African brands building, I mean, making electronics, for example, household electronics, from TV to washing machines, all these things had. But even if you look at it across Africa, you hardly have any company or any organization from Africa
Yeah,
into these places. Everything is imported. All right.
yeah,
Everything we have to pay through our nose for foreign exchanges. Our
yeah,
currency is getting devalued day by day, and we have talent. We have
yeah,
people that can
Definitely,
do this thing.
definitely.
So, I
yeah.
mean, I think the opportunity is massive, and this is the time for us to take hold of our future, right? And I believe that's what you guys are doing, and it's really amazing. I mean, in terms of the opportunity that you can unlock
Oh yeah.
in that space. So tell us about the solar bag. I was watching one of your interview on CNN, and I know you were talking about is a bag with a solar panel. Can you just talk about how that works and what led to that innovation?
Yeah, before we can go into the solar backpack, let me chip in with what we just discussed. We are here as Ked Liphi to fill that gap. That's our dream as Ked Liphi. Why should you go to China? Why should we go to Asia? while we're here, we are aiming at making a plant, an electronic plant that we know will be able to be producing those gadgets, and a TV that is made in Botswana, a TV that is made in somewhere in Africa, an electric car that is made somewhere in Africa, young Africans, because we are the ones that have talent. Even if you can look in those Asian countries, you'll find that 30% of the people working around those innovations or around those things are Black young children from Africa. So we are here as Ked Liphi. The problem is that maybe the system that are not favoring us that much, but we will get there. So with the solar backpack, yeah, Mr. Tawanda, the story behind the solar backpack, yeah, it's another real deal one.
Well, thank you for appreciating that one. Hey, look, I'm sure as you saw on the CNN interview, we have been getting a lot of calls. It's really gone out there, and this is actually it's our, I would call it our second complete innovation amongst many of our innovations. We actually have a couple, and some of them we will take you through them as we go through. But the solar bag we manufactured for a time when we were doing, we usually do research and development to understand what problems communities are facing before we innovate. And so during one of our days going around, we also try and mix a bit of relaxation and work at the same time. And we went into a rural community, and we saw a young man, but you could tell he was he had so much future. He was so bright. You could tell, and I could work. We just were looking at him and we're watching how hard he was working. Tending to the cattle and all. But we looked at it, at what he was wearing. We looked at the uniform he was wearing, and really it broke our hearts to see this. And we thought, this young man someday could be a president. This young man could be a CEO or an executive of some big conglomerate someday. And he had his school books in a plastic bag. He was holding a stick on one side, tending cows, but happy nonetheless. And we got back to office and we said, something about that kid touched us. And we thought, what? It would be so nice to make a bag that we can incorporate with our talent and skills. And so we began to design a blueprint, and within a short space of time, we came up with a solar backpack prototype. And when CNN came through, we told them the story about the motivation for the bag, but in our hearts and in our spirits, we manufacture from a place of passion. We manufacture from a place of solving a problem and making a difference to the African continent and beyond Africa. Our tagline as a company, our brand is African Innovation Beyond. And so when we made this, we thought, look, this is something that's made here, but could be used in any country across Africa. I know there was a lot of raw demand in places. When we looked at it, we looked at other countries, not just Botswana, you name it, Southern Africa, Western Africa, Northern Africa. We've got places in Africa where some kids haven't even gone to school. And we made this bag, and other places don't even have access to electricity totally. And so we thought it would be so cool, for someone who, even for the university child, for example, someone may be disadvantaged and may not say their circumstances, but they could be going to university and they're disadvantaged. You say, look, this is for that type of person, who's on the grind. They're working hard. They need this. They can carry their stuff in there, and when they're going, it charges during the day. When they get to where they're going, there's no power. They still can afford to read, do assignments, and it can help out a family, and it's also not just the solar bag. It's equipped with a charging port, a USB charging port that can power boost a phone, for example, or a tablet, which can also help with, when someone then goes back from a rural place or a high density community where there's no power, get back, and their daily lives continue.
That's amazing. So tell us, how much does it cost right now, and how are you manufacturing that? What's the pace of it? Can you tell us numbers? Or just give us insight into the usage right now.
All right. First of all, I'd like to get into the business model we have. We are currently we have structured a synergy with corporates and NGOs and corporate organizations because of the costing of our backpack. I will quantify it in US dollars equivalent. I think that's what most people could understand. Each backpack is equivalent to 65 US dollars for a complete backpack. And so, how we have structured the business is we have partnered with some NGOs and some corporates who are going to then purchase the backpacks and donate them in areas where they're need. Obviously, because if it's a rural setup, some people may not be able to afford. However, this is not to say that we are focused on rural communities because we do have interest also in urban cities. You know, where in urban towns there's also power cuts that are going on, and so and so for those that have their own funds, they could call us up and we manufacture, and that pricing is actually a uh, bulk buying price, and obviously depending on the number of units, price does come down relatively, slightly, somewhat, to uh, a figure that we feel could match the product, its quality, its durability. Because we're using the backpacks are made of what's called canvas material, which is waterproof. It's long lasting. Our panels are also durable, and the way we have manufactured the actual bag itself, we have ensured and gone through a rigorous quality control process to ensure that this is a long lasting thing. You don't want to purchase it once off and for the next 5 years or 10 years, you've got something that's working for you. Obviously, having electrical gadgets on something like this, it depends now on the user. I wouldn't assume that you get home and start kicking your laptop because it will die. But this being put on a backpack is it's part of the breakthrough innovations that we and social impact solutions that we are currently moving in line with.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And how has it been like in terms of these NGOs buying into solutions like this? What has been the feedback?
Currently, the feedback, I'll be honest with you, because it's a new innovation onto market. We are still getting a lot of letters of intent and letters of interest. A lot of guys are calling us up. We're hopeful to start getting bulk orders very soon, as early as before the end of the year, before the commencement of 2021, getting into 2022. And also corporates that are fulfilling their social responsibility that have given us calls and everything. Very few companies have financially committed, if any, at the moment, because it's very new, it's fairly new onto market, and a lot of people hadn't seen it. A lot of people are still amazed by it, still wanting to touch it, feel it, explore it. And everywhere we go, immediately people are like, I didn't know about you. We're like, no, we were on CNN and some guys did see us there. They're calling us up. We did have a few guys that came through to the office and said, guys, we saw your work. We are so impressed. We definitely want to work with you. We want to partner and do a collab with you on any other innovations you may have. And we said, look, we're more than open because we're also a startup, and being innovators in that innovation space is very difficult because it's costly. It's very expensive. And innovation is an expensive process, but it's like I always tell my partner, it's not about us, it's about the next generation. We're sacrificing today for a better tomorrow.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Automatic Diagnostic Combo machine, right? Last year, the whole world was on lockdown for months, right? COVID came around and everybody was confused. What is this? Everybody is on lockdown, but the world has to move on. New ideas has to come up, innovations has to come up. How can we solve this problem? How can we move forward? And you guys came up with this ingenious machine. Can you tell us about automatic machine and how is helping solve the COVID-19 problem and the other applications?
My heart fills with a lot of warmth about automatic diagnostic combo machine. Our first machine that we prototyped and came to reality and fully functioning well. Yeah, the story behind the automatic diagnostic combo machine. When we looked at the structure around when our first lockdown came through, wherever you go, you had to sanitize yourself, your body temperature being screened, your particulars being registered for contact tracing. So the process took, you could queue for a long period of time, maybe 30 minutes maximum, just for you to get service. So we said, is there any way, anyhow we can automate this process together and just take this 30 minutes to 10 seconds just to try and restore the old way of life where you can just walk in and out of a shop without you struggling. So we did a research, combined our research together, started working on the prototype, buying components, doing this, and then it came out perfectly. The automatic diagnostic combo machine is a machine that can facial recognize you when you are registered into our application form, our application. Yeah, it will be able to recognize this is Mr. Liphi. Mr. Liphi stays at this particular address. This is his number. This is his ID. And it also screens your body temperature, synchronizing your body temperature with that information. And then it guarantees you access into that particular building. So if you are not registered, it will ask you to scan your ID or your passport for you to be registered at that particular time, at that particular moment. And then it sanitizes you also.
How long did it take you to build this? What was the process like for you? Do you have all materials locally sourced?
Yeah, currently all materials were sourced locally. The things that we had to source out were components like we spoke about, the TVs, motherboards, power supplies. Those ones were sourced from outside China, but we managed to ship them in. This machine was started, innovated 2020, and then we managed to complete it by end of 2020, right? Yeah, 2020. Then started registration, the patenting process, the evaluation process. So the IP belongs to us. We managed to patent it, and it has been recommended by Ministry of Health this side. Also, Botswana Innovation Hub. We are part of their network, Lamuel Technologies. Yeah, that's the mileage that we have gone. And also right now, it has also attracted attention from stakeholders outside, regionally, like the Harare Institution of Technology. We have recently just signed a memorandum of agreement. They will be partnering with them so that they can be the one supplying the innovation that side in Zimbabwe.
Sounds great. So, it's a patented product right now, and I think that's really amazing in terms of the feat you've been able to achieve so far. Another thing I would like to learn about the product right now is the receptibility from the government, for example. This is something, we have ministries in department across different government strata. And I know it's patented, there is government support, but what is their position in trying to be the first set of users for this product, championing this product?
Well, yeah, thank you for your question about government support and how they have supported us. It's been a very painful process. As I mentioned earlier on, innovation it's expensive, and it's expensive not in terms of money only. It's expensive in terms of your time. It's expensive in terms of your effort, your IP, and it's taxing in the African system. I think every innovator can also say the same thing. We've had a lot of doors closed on us. We've had a lot of people who are supposed to be the industry tell us they cannot work with us, and it's such a shame that another government from another country would see more value in what you are doing, and then they would then want to accept the product when it's coming in from outside, yet it's being manufactured in their own country. So we have faced a lot of barriers. Some of the stakeholders have been supportive in terms of helping us to patent, license, with the recommendations, and for allowing us to pilot the actual prototype in their respective departments, and also appreciating, adding to more recommendation for towards the safety and usage of the actual innovation itself. However, the innovation itself being an automatic diagnostic combo machine is a holistic machine, as Mr. Kedumetse mentioned. It's not a machine that is specific to entrance and exit only, and it also works as a security device. I'll give you an example. When the first lockdown started, um, I remember most airlines were shut down, most countries shut down generally, and they were looking for a solution on how economies can also begin to come alive again. And so, with the innovation we made, it's an innovation that we positioned to enable us to then match, as Mr. Kedumetse said, a face to identity documents or particulars. So, this how we've structured our MOU with the Zimbabwean side is that our machine is going to eventually be absorbed and used at border points for security profiling. So it will also enable efficiency. Where now, by the time an individual gets to an immigration or customs officer or their desk, all the information has already been popped up. We would know the temperature, we would know the face, we would know the person. And then also we're scaling up the innovation as we are also working tirelessly and effortlessly to then be able to match a person's face. For example, if they have committed a crime in one town, wherever there's a machine and they walk past the machine, it can red flag that individual, for example, and then we'll be able to notify the relevant authorities. So this will then crime in certain areas. It will also contain certain situations because the machine also can run a live recording feed. It also runs as a security, personal security TV, as a CCTV. So it most people see the machine there and they think it's just a machine, but it's actually a mass industrial machine with mass benefits across industries. You name it, that's your banks, schools, mines, shops, companies, everywhere. It's a machine that we have manufactured to fill the total scope and the total gap, borders, immigration. And so I know for us at that time also, we were not able to have flights coming in because we didn't know who had COVID and who doesn't. We didn't know who is safe and who's not safe. And so for us to launch the machine has been a headache. It's been such a tedious process for us, a headache and a nightmare to get the government themselves to understand what the machine is and what the value is. But we're so happy that we've been able to have a few milestones and have Zimbabwe sign on. We've got some letters of intent and interest from the South African side. We do have a few local guys that are now seeing value. A few minds have come through. Also, have in the next few weeks, we'll be coming through and having meetings with them where they also feel the machine will add value in their minds for employee log in and log out security profiling. We want to know which employee has actually come to work, what they look like, what time they logged in, and all that. And this machine is capable of doing all that.
Yeah, and to add on that, when we innovated this machine, we were trying to close all the loopholes. So imagine this thing in Asia, before COVID came through, people were usually sanitizing every single time because the virus is not just COVID. So we are saying the same thing to Africa. Continue using this machine. It always sanitizes people. No matter COVID is going away, but there's other viruses that are there that have been living. That's the reason why in Asian countries, people will see them always wearing masks even before COVID, sanitizing. So that's what we tried to do. The future of Africa. That's what we are trying to implement.
Oh yes, and the machine has a thermal thermometer. This is thermal imagery. It's not a most people are holding that thermometer and they think that's thermal. That's actually a bit different from the system we're using in place because our system sort of uses infrared. So as Mr. Kedumetse is saying, as long as an individual's body signature is high, the machine will actually record that and it will show you that profiling. If anybody has swallowed anything, even on that thermal thermometer on the screen, it can show you the heat signature of the individual. And for example, at border control, for security control, they'll be able to see that this individual has something in their system. So it's a holistic machine.
I can see the applications across industries. I mean, it's amazing the potential of what this can do. Uh, and I want to talk about funding, in terms of how you've been able to build this. What is the funding process like? But before we get to that, I know you've actually been selected for Slush, which is a massive startup event in Finland, and I believe your technology will have applications during that event. Slush brings together over 20,000 people, and I'm sure you experienced that. I've been to Slush a couple of times, and the check-in process before COVID, it was not something easy. You have like 20 lines. It's a whole lot happening, and your machine can do amazing stuff. So I just actually connected it to Slush events, and I just think the application is just it's just endless, really. And the security feature just brings it another spice to it. So thumbs up to what your team is doing in that regards. And I just want to say it right here for the record that I wish you all the best. And let's talk about funding. How has it been like based on this amazing product you've built so far? What was it like? Do you have investors in your company? What has the process been like? Because you've mentioned a couple of times innovation is expensive. It's really expensive, especially even if you're building software. Come to think of hardware, where you have to run series of prototypes, you have to 3D print some items. What has it been like for your team?
Ash, my brother, that one has been a headache, a very, very headache. That when we raise it, I become too emotional because and the prototypes that we have been self-financed from our savings. We don't have any investor that came through to assist with this. We are still looking for investors to come through and invest in of Ked Liphi that we have. So all these prototypes we have and the solar backpack have been self-financed up to now. The ADCM alone cost us around 150 thousand pula. That is 15 US dollar, 15,000 US dollars. So prototype, register it, patent it, all the process. So it has been something even to our family side, wives, they will tell you, no, bruh, why are you taking money and going waste it on something that you don't know it will work? But when you believe in your dream and you know that something will work, you just gotta do that thing and push it out because one day, one of the good day, it will bring or it will take you or it will change someone's life.
Yeah, and I think as Kedumetse is saying, when we say it's expensive, 15,000 is actually presumptive costs because there are further costs involved, as you said, to the piloting, the prototyping phase, the printing, and also gathering the materials, that's the importations, duty costs. It's a very expensive process that has taken a lot from us. And as young startups, this is all we had. So we basically put our lives on the line for innovations that we believe being pioneers are going to drive the future of Africa somewhere. And we don't hope to see our innovations not going far, like our tagline says, innovate African innovation beyond. We want to also see it in Nigeria, we want to see it in Zambia, we want to see it in South Africa, Zimbabwe, Botswana itself. Unfortunately, going back to your question about applications and hardware, we are also faced with a challenge of technical expertise in terms of hardware development itself. And so you'll find that economies in Africa that don't understand about the technicalities of hardware and electronic part of the hardware, they don't support. They understand applications, but they're short-sighted in their vision because they don't then see that they're running out of way to use their applications. And they actually need us innovators who can actually make gadgets and devices for them to use applications. And so that also has been taxing to us, because now you have to sit with an you have to invite them. We have been called to so many board meetings with CEOs of the biggest finance companies, and still they still yet didn't understand. It's only now when people are seeing us on CNN, and people are now seeing some of the high profile people coming towards us, that they now want to come and say, guys, is your innovation still, what's happening with that? How far have you gone? Can we now assist you? And we're saying, look, we never stop anyone from assisting. We never say no to investment, because for anybody to get anywhere, they need investment. The only difference between a successful entrepreneur and one who gives up along the way is perseverance and passion. Because most people are in it for money, but we're in it for the passion. We're in it for the long run. And so this is where financially it's been a rocky journey. It's been very hard. It's been very difficult, but we don't stop. We don't stop believing every day. We wake up and continue doing what we need to do every day.
Now, what is the startup investment ecosystem like in Botswana? What is it like? Are there like angel networks investing in startup? What is it like based on your perspective? How does investment works in startups in Botswana right now?
Yes, well, there's angel, there's investment networks that are available. They're actually supposed to be funding available through the innovation centers and networks. Unfortunately, especially with the first innovation, the ADCM machine we're talking about, we were not able to be a part of that or access that, because we had already made a prototype out of our own pockets that's functional. And most youth that go there are still starting up and need work right up from the technical assistance, the guidance, information about developing the business itself. But however, with our expertise and our skills, we had already done the 98% of the business. And so they highlighted to us they could not assist us with funding. However, they do fund. They also have their local funding department. We did approach them. We did write proposals to them. They were very impressed with our proposal. They actually called us in also for a meeting. However, at that time, because it's a new non-existent innovation, something they had never seen before, something they were very keen on seeing how it would perform and then invest. Is a challenge to us as well as innovators, because everybody wants to invest in what they're sure of in terms of their return. But what I would like to say to people out there and to everybody who's going to listen to this is, guys, Apple didn't start there. Google didn't start there. They all started in a garage. They started somewhere. They run around just like every innovator, just like us, just like all the other youngsters out there. The only difference is that they had somebody behind them who believed in them. And today, that person who believed in them is probably $100 million richer than they were when they invested. And so this is what we're saying to the people locally. They are in angel investors. We do have people with finance. We do have people with funds. Funding it's available, but as is at the African system, it's funding for Africa is never easy. It's never just a walk in the park. You just don't walk there and get your 1 million and you're good to go. You have to fight for it. You have to go through the process, and we've done that. We've proved to them, and we've what we like. Thank you for the good luck you've wished us. We have competed on various platforms, pitch decks, and we have performed very well. We've made it to the top 10 of uh, most of these pitch decks, and including one which we did recently, that's sponsored by the U.S. Embassy, Young Africa, uh, and that was also very successful. So we have proved and surpassed the milestones of, uh, of when we started and where we're going.
Wow, that's a whole lot. I mean, the perseverance, like you mentioned, it's key. And yeah, I mean, there was a research, a VC research, that maybe like 2% of investment, all the VC investment made across the world happens in Africa. So there's a lot that we have to do when it comes to supporting homegrown local innovation. And this goes out to
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
VCs, all the angel investors, not just in Nigeria, in Botswana, in Ghana, I mean, in Cote d'Ivoire, in Senegal.
Definitely.
We need a whole lot of local participation in supporting
Yeah.
startups.
Yeah.
I know it's a risk. I mean, it's what they've
Yeah.
done is basically to provide risk investment for innovators like you
Yeah.
guys. And I
Yeah.
think, I mean, imagine each government, no matter how bad it is, dedicating, let's say, $1 million for just risk investment for supporting
Mm.
innovative ideas. I'm sure there is
Definitely.
no country in Africa that
Yeah.
does not have amazing innovation coming out of its shores every
Yeah.
year. All right.
Definitely.
What do we do about it? Do we just celebrate it on our local TV and that is all?
No.
You know where we fail as Africans. I'll give an example with a kid in Asia. Most of these TVs that we watch, those are projects of kids from Asians. So as soon as this kid does that prototype and the thing is out, as soon as possible, they fund ship the thing to Africa, and then we accept them as if they are holy things and everything, you know. But when it's something coming from Africa, it will take time for the government or those angel investors to support that dream of that kid.
Yeah, I think just to add on to what you're saying, when the mindset needs to shift. The mindset needs to shift. It doesn't mean because someone is coming from the rural areas they don't have talent, because as a
Definitely.
matter of fact,
Yeah.
that's where all the
The
talent
talent
is.
is.
And that's where the support should actually go. Mind you, one of the fastest growing economies currently in Africa is Rwanda. And that's why he's been so successful in the short space of time, because he has developed systems that support entrepreneurial
youngsters.
innovation ventures, and so they're the first to develop phones locally in their country. He's the first to implement systems in their country. He's the first to do this and that, and solar projects are happening and this and that. And you're gonna find Rwanda was a war torn country of all these decades, and it's going to overtake us within a short space of less than a decade, because they have a visionary who has understood what innovation is and what it takes to make it in a country.
Definitely.
And we, the rest of the Africans, are going to be the consumers of their products in our countries. And so, speaking of which, someone we also try and network with other innovators. We've networked with some guys in Kenya. We just seen one of your Nigerian brothers who's just made a beautiful, amazing solar vehicle. That's low cost, low budget. It's so amazing the things that are coming out of Africa.
The talent.
And we have what it takes. We literally have the resources there in our fingertips. Be it in oil, be it in steel, be it in production, we have what it takes. And so, like I've been saying, the system has taught us, let's shut down Africa. But this is the struggle that we have. And one of my mentors, he pointed me out. He said, Jet Li, everyone used to watch karate, and everyone used to like, our forefathers used to like him, doing his thing on TV. But it was not about him. He preached a message, and the message he preached was unity. He started a revolution, but the revolution was the revolution of the mind, and this is what he was taken out for, because he used to speak for the truth.
Yeah.
And so it's time for young Africans to rise up and speak the truth. It's time for us to unite. It's time for us to not get frustrated when my brother makes it. Let me push him and say, you know what? I saw the effort you put. I made it today. I need to put into you tomorrow so we can go somewhere.
Yeah, I think the mind the changing of the mind, it's part of what we have to also do, work on as entrepreneurs. Uh Celebration that was celebrated in Nigeria last week, Fela Kuti, the human
Mm.
rights activist, the musician, and
Yeah,
Fela had a song titled "By Africa." All right, and it's a
yeah,
very powerful song. And by
yeah,
Africa, I mean, how
yeah,
can Africa go? I mean, why do I have to go outside of Africa to buy something if I can go to my next door neighbor in Ghana or
yeah,
And buy
travel
it.
down south to Botswana? Why can't
yeah,
I? I mean, so I mean, And it's a mindset thing. Even when we look about fashion, right? And I think
Yeah.
one of the most interesting sector in Africa that other sectors can learn from is the music industry, for example. Back
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
years, we used to listen to all foreign music, but right now, we understand how powerful it is. I mean, our local music, how it's gaining
Oh
ground
yeah.
across the world. And that is
definitely,
a very
definitely.
typical example we can replicate across all industries, across
Yeah.
all sectors. We have to buy Africa. We have to buy
Yeah.
from ourselves. And I
Oh yeah.
think that state of mind, I mean, we are all championing that. We are building innovative solutions. And I think
Yeah,
years down the line, this shift is going to happen because I think there is consciousness right now. I mean,
Yeah.
the youth of Africa, the consciousness is building up. And I think it's our role to do that. And I believe,
Oh yeah.
I mean, we'll see more of this revolution. I mean, this peaceful revolution, this cause
Oh
of
yeah.
change in the mentality, in the state of minds of young Africans happening. And we'll be able to build beautiful
definitely,
products,
definitely.
that's
Mm.
really going to work and we'll be proud of it as Africans. So I would
That's
just like to
African.
know, as we round up about your plans for the future, where do you see Ked Liphi? What are the things that you see going forward?
Look, Ked Liphi is a small startup that is making steady progress. It takes a leap. You have to have a faith. You have to have giant faith for you to take that leap. And where we're going in the future, we hopefully will have our innovations across Africa firstly before we externalize to the rest of the world. Currently, the first part of that vision is going to be with our solar backpacks, hopefully, and have our brothers and sisters, benefit from the mind and from something that came from the heart. And also, as part of our plan, we are going to also open up industry in terms of teaching youngsters practical skills because I believe it starts at a young age. They say that in the first, a 3-year-old is already wealthier than a 16-year-old African, and that's a problem for me. And so we want to start taking them from that age and grooming them when they still have a passion. When we identify the baby has a passion, he likes toys, and we start mentoring them at that stage where we are hopefully soon going to have a hub of our own, a development center that's going to be franchised across Africa, and within each region, everybody can then have a source of sustenance where people create, they open up uh, platforms or job opportunities for other Africans. They make money in the process and leave generational wealth. Not become rich, but leave generational wealth for the next generations, not just for one, but for 4 generations to come. And that's our biggest plan. To sum it up, is to leave a legacy.
Very
And
true.
Kedlipi is not about an innovation. Kedlipi is about a legacy.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for being on the show. It's been really amazing talking with you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks a lot for hosting us. And before we close, I would like just to thank all the stakeholders that have assisted us, individuals, even this all of our innovations. We had people assisting us there and there. The solar backpack. We have one young entrepreneur, Botswana, helping us with the solar backpack. So I would like to thank individuals for the effort that they've put through to Ked Liphi, the mentors, everyone, our families, and thanks a lot, brother, for hosting us today.
Yeah,
Thank you very
thank you,
much.
Kedu.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kedu. Thank you, Tawanda. It's amazing. It's amazing having conversation with you. And you guys should be preparing to host me in Botswana very soon, right?
Most,
Yeah, definitely.
most definitely.
All right, guys. Thank you very much, and it's absolutely great to have you on the show. So thank you everyone for listening to Curious K podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and of course, feel free to share with your friends. Let's keep spreading the great news about what African innovators are doing. And see you next time. Bye bye.